So somebody asked me a very interesting very interesting question. It was an interesting conversation. They were talking to me about how, they're not very enthusiastic about life. They're not very excited. It's kind of like this blasé thing, like whatever. It's just another day. And they say to me, you're so passionate about what you do. You've been doing it forever, right? How did you find that? How did you find your passion? How did you find your gift, your calling in life? And then they said, and how do I find that for me? They want to know. She wants to know. She's a very successful woman, right? She's got her master's degree, PhD, right? She's making good money, but she's not really too excited about it. Wants to know how she finds it. How does she get that passion? How does she find her gift, right? She wants to know how to do that. So, the best thing I can tell you is think about what you've been doing in your life and what has brought you the most joy, right? What do you lean more towards? Me as an example, and this is the best way that people learn is through stories, right? Which is why something like the Bible is so successful. Just great stories, right? It have these little nuggets of knowledge in there, right? Things you learn from. So, me as a child, I took to creativity like that, right? And I would draw, I would paint, and then I would build things out of Lego sets, right? So, I like to create and build things, right? And as I got older and I got better at creating, my creations would become more elaborate, right? Now, when I would paint and I would draw things and paint things from my mind, right? A lot of people sometimes, they need to draw something that's already in existence. So they look at something and then they can draw it, which is an amazing talent. I don't do so well with that. Some people are way better than me at that. But I can take a vision from my head and draw it and paint it and make it this very intricate, detailed thing. And most people cannot do that, right? Where you create from vision. You create from something that is not in existence, right? That's the beauty of vision. To be able to dedicate yourself to creating and building something that no one knows about, that doesn't exist. It's just an idea in your head. It's all in your head. And you can create that and turn it into a reality. It's powerful, right? Which is why vision is so important, because vision is responsible for like all of the inventions in the world that improve our lives so much. Like this camera phone, right? I record my videos on my phone. 20 years ago, you would have said to somebody, I'm going to record an HD video on my phone. They would be like, why would you do that? Why don't you just use a video camera? It's ridiculous. A phone is a phone, a video camera is a video camera. They're two separate purposes. They didn't have the vision in order to understand the idea. So, anyways, I digress, right? Creating and building, that was one of my things. Now, creating and building helped me figure out what the other side of my gift was. And that was teaching, right? And in order to teach, you have to learn and do. Then you can teach, right? Learn, do, teach. Teachers are great learners, right? So, I would create something, I would build something, and then I would show it off. Look what I did. These are the different tools and things that I use, different skills and techniques that I use to create this. You see how I did this here and that there? And then I'd teach people how I did it. So I would learn how to do it, then do it, and then teach it. Right? So, the rest is history. But moving on, right? So I was, painting, drawing, building things out of Lego sets, creating, right? Child shit. And then showing it off to everybody. Well, of course, when you're a child, most people are like, oh yeah, very nice, okay, go play. Because they don't understand your vision. They don't know where it's going, right? But me as a kid, I kind of knew. Subconsciously, I knew where it was going. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to create and build and then show everybody more than I wanted to do anything else, right? Eventually, people say, oh, you know what? He's very artistic, and he's a very good writer too. Writing is another form of creativity, right? It's just another. Once you have creativity, if you can apply that to anything. And then it was, oh, he's very good at teaching. He speaks. He's very articulate. Why don't you be a teacher? But I didn't want to be a school teacher, right? Just because I didn't really take to that, mainly because of my view of the school system. They're not teaching people what they really need to know, which is what I'm doing this video about, right? How to find your gift. They don't teach you that in school. They just expose you to a bunch of stuff and see if something sticks, right? They teach you a whole bunch of stuff that they think you need to know, like algebra, which is something most of us never need to use ever. We don't need to solve for X, right? We don't do that. We don't sit down with a piece of paper and do this whole complex math problem. We don't do that. It's not necessary. Moving on, right? So, my dad had me in the gym since I was a little kid, but I would watch him, learn from him, watch him lift weights, watch him grow muscle and get strong, and I said, I want to do that. So eventually when I was old enough, which I think was 14, 15, he brought me on the gym floor. Maybe it was 13, I don't know. But he brought me on the gym floor, started showing me how to lift weights. Started teaching me how to grow muscle, right? So then I would snag his dumbbells, do curls, right, and watch my arms grow. I was building, creating new muscle, right? So fast forward till 18, I said, you know what, I'm gonna be a personal trainer, I'm gonna be a fitness coach. I'm gonna teach other people how to do this. I'm gonna teach other people how to grow muscle and lose body fat and look good, right? How to build themselves. So you learn, you do, and then you say, yeah, look at that. You wanna learn that? I'm gonna teach you, right? So you learn, you do, and then you teach, right? You show people what you did, and they go, oh, I want to learn that, and then you teach them, right? And you make a career out of it, and that's what I did. So, and then now it is here, I'm 29 years old, still doing it. Of course, I've learned a lot more, so I'm a lot better at it. But, and of course, it's morphed into something else, but moral of the story, it's still creating and building, and then teaching people how to create and build. But I went on from creating and building muscle and all that kind of stuff in myself to creating and building other people, helping them create and build better versions of themselves, stronger versions of themselves, right? So now I'm teaching this. And then as I got older, I said, well, how do people become dedicated? How do people become successful at anything? You can lift all the weights in the world, but why? And then I came across personal development, right? Because all success starts in the mind, making the decision in the mind. Discipline is a decision, right? It comes from the mind. It's how your psychology works, right? You don't work unless your psychology works. And personal development is pretty much self-mastery, right? Mastering your own psychology. So then I branded myself as a fitness and personal development coach, to get into people's heads so I can start building their minds, creating more efficient working versions of their mind, and then to use that mind, that mentality, with the efforts of everything else in their life, like fitness, right? So it morphed into something else, but you're still creating, still building, still teaching. You see how this goes from being on a canvas to being in some Lego blocks to now building people? You see how this evolves over time? You see how this vision comes into fruition? Right? Now, of course, in the current day and time, I say, people don't have the mental testicular fortitude to do what they got to do. Why? Right? They're not able to get in shape. People gain all kind of weight. They're not disciplined with the eating and all that kind of stuff. Why? Oh, it's in their head. Then people say, oh, well, I'd love to train, but I can't afford it. Why? Right? They don't have the money. What if I taught them how to earn money? So I learned how to earn income online, how to develop multiple streams of income online. Learned it, did it, and now teaching it, right? So now I'm improving people's minds, people's bodies, and people's wallets. Building people in all aspects, right? Well, not all, but those three, right? So now I'm building or helping to build people's lifestyle. See? Now it's lifestyle building. It went from being building Lego sets to building lifestyles. And that's going to expand as I get older and learn more, right? That's why I'm so excited about it. Because I see where it's going and it's exciting. So now getting back to this young woman. How do you find your passion? How do you find your gift? Well, what excites you? What is it that you like to build? What is it you like to teach? What is it you like to learn? What excites you? What are you good at? What comes naturally to you? Right? So, I can't answer this question for you. The only thing I can tell you is to ask yourself the questions and dig deep into yourself. Look deep into yourself. Look back on your life and said, when was I truly happy? When was I the most excited? Follow the pattern. I followed my pattern all the way from being a kid. I like to create, build, and teach. That's it. And that create, build, and teach just spread through everything else I've ever done up until this current point in time. Right? That's all it is. Find those attributes and then build on them. And once you figure out what that is and you start building on that, that's when life becomes truly exciting. Because in life, we do one of two things, mainly. In life, we either build or destroy. So the question is, what do you want to do?